is in my life, so I hustle.
What's up YouTube, and welcome to IT Hustle. In this video, we are continuing the series exploring the Blue Team Field Manual. In the last video, we finished with the preparation chapter. In this video, we will be moving into the Identify chapter. So in Identify, we will be covering scanning and vulnerabilities. We have some Windows network discovery, as well as some Linux network discovery. And throughout the remainder of this series, we will get our hands on the keyboard in the lab to demonstrate what is provided in the text. So without further ado, let's jump in. Scanning and vulnerabilities. So before we hop into Nmap, let's just cover the terminology really quick here. What is a port? A port is a logical endpoint for communication in an operating system. It's used to distinguish specific services or processes that are running on a computer. And then over here to the right, we have the different port states. There's 6 port states recognized by Nmap. The first one being open. An application is actively accepting TCP connections, UDP datagrams, or SCTP associations on this port. A closed state. A closed port is accessible. It receives and responds to Nmap probe packets, but there is no application listening on it. Filtered. Nmap cannot determine whether the port is open because packet filtering prevents its probes from reaching the port. Unfiltered. The unfiltered state means that a probe is accessible, but Nmap is unable to determine whether it is open or closed. Open/filtered. Nmap places ports in this state when it's unable to determine whether a port is open or filtered. And the closed/filtered state. This state is used when Nmap is unable to determine whether a port is closed or unfiltered. And over here to the left, if you're using Linux and want to know more about using the Nmap command, you can use the man page, man nmap, in Windows, nmap-help, or you can head over to nmap.org/book and read the manual. So to discover nodes, open ports, and services on the network, the text has provided us a couple of scanning methods. So we have ping sweep, scan for open ports, scan for open services, scan for 2 common ports at once, scan common UDP ports, and scan UDP and TCP ports on a single host verbosely. Let's head over to the lab to see Nmap in action. Okay, JK, we're gonna run that back. I'm gonna do sudo and then the command. That way we get everything. Okay, so as you can see, we have way more results this time around. So you can see we have the firewall at .1, the switch at .2. Got my other server .18, got my DC right here on .20, and these are the DHCP hosts at .51, 52, 54, and 55. And then of course 19, the Linux server that we're using right now in Cali. So next we're going to scan for open ports. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen here. Do sudo nmap open. And we're going to do the network address again. Make sure you spell Nmap right. Alright, so this one may take a little bit, so I'm gonna put it on pause and we'll come right back when we have results. Or we can just sit there and be patient and then we'll get our results right there. So As we scroll up, you can see the different ports and services that are opened up on each one. So on .1 we have 53, 80, 443, and it even tells you, what service is on there. So if you didn't know that DNS was on 53, there you go, domain service on 53, 80 HTTP, 443 HTTPS. So it lets you know what services are running on what device. So we come down here to 20, that's the domain controller. You can see we got domain, Coribos, MSRPC, NetBIOS, LDAP, etc. And, it goes on and on. This is how you discover the ports and services that are open on each device on your network. All right, so let's clear this and go to the next example. All right, so we're going to scan for open services. Not just ports, but services. So let's check that out. Sudo nmap sv. I'm going to do the entire network again. Oh. Okay, had to pause it there. That one took a little bit. So let's scroll through the output here. Scroll all the way up. Okay. So it gives us the port and the service, but we get some version information here. So on 80, we can see that this is Nginx, not just Apache, but Nginx that it's identified. So we get to know a little bit more about that service that's running on that port. You scroll down, .2, that's actually a Cisco switch, but Nmap has picked it up as Cisco router. Not 100% accurate, but kind of spot on the Cisco part. No. Okay, so .18. Ain't nothing open on .18. And then on our DC, we see what's open. And then, a bit more descriptive on our discovery. So on port 53, we see it's the domain service, but it's simple DNS plus. And LDAP, Microsoft Windows Active Directory LDAP, so it gives us a bit more information there. So pretty cool what we can find out by utilizing Nmap. Okay, so let's clear this and move to the next example. And we're going to scan for common TCP ports, HTTP and HTTPS, very common. So sudo nmap -p 80, 443. And do the entire network again. All right, so that one was pretty quick. So let's scroll up to see. So we have on .1 we have 80 and 443. On 2 got 80 and 443 closed, so we know that hey, it does not have HTTP on there. You ain't gonna navigate there in a browser. Okay, same thing on .18 because we've identified ain't nothing open on .18. On .20 we have it filtered. In the previous slide we covered what a filtered state was. And the same thing on the remaining devices. So let's say on .20, if we had IIS installed, you would actually see 80 and 443 open, and you can navigate to it because it'd be a service that's actually running on there. So, just saying. Okay, so let's clear this and go to the next example. Next one, we're going to scan common UDP port DNS. So let's do that. Sudo Nmap -p 5353. See the whole network. Okay, so let's go through this output here. Okay, 53 open. On the perimeter device, of course, 53 is going to be open. Otherwise, it'd be no name resolution for the entire LAN. .2, it's actually closed, but it doesn't need to resolve anything anyway on layer 2. Got it closed on 18, that's okay. 20, of course that's open because that's the Active Directory server. Of course it's running DNS services. And on the rest of them it's showing filtered. Okay, so we're going to clear this and move into the last example. Scan UDP and TCP on a single host verbosely with optional skip ping. Sudo nmap b-p-n-u st-p u 53 111 137 comma e. So we're specifying if it's going to be UDP or TCP. So the U over here is UDP, T is the TCP ports. 21 through 25, 80, 139, 80, 80, and we're going to do our DC because that has the most ports open. Oh, what did we do wrong? Okay, mind your syntax. So up here, I messed up the port range in the TCP, so that needs to be 25. Okay, now we're in business. All right, so through all that, we see that we have 21, 22, well, 21 through 80 really in a filtered state. 139 is open, 8080 is filtered, 53 is open, 111 open filtered, and 137 in open. So why does any of this matter, right? So by knowing what devices are on your network, you can better control your environment by taking inventory of the nodes that are talking on the wire. So by identifying what ports and services are open in your environment, you can identify the ports. You can identify if the ports need to be open in the first place, right? You know, so you can reduce attack surface accordingly. So we'll clear that up. And that's pretty much it for Nmap. In the next video, we will be moving into Nessus. Resource links from this presentation will be linked in the description if you're interested in that. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.
I want the finer things in my life, so I hustle.